Hello. The Libby and Abby case was just on Dr. Phil recently, so I thought I would actually. What I'm going to do right now is bring out my Crime Flow 3. I always called it just Flow 3 video, but it shows the flow of the crime and it's accurate. Okay, and you'll see how accurate it is when you watch this, but I thought I would do it explaining it with my own voice. Okay, and I think there's some updates too, so let's just play it. Okay, so the girls were dropped off here. I think it was right around 1:45 by the sister of Libby, and her name is Kelsey. They were dropped off here, and they walked this direction and then took a left here. Okay, now I always thought that maybe the suspect was in this area, and actually the girls actually encountered him. Okay, but he let them continue walking down this path to the left, and didn't bother them. He didn't look like he was following, so they left. And after a while, they actually just sort of forgot about him, okay? And then when they went to the bridge, they were taking photos and having fun. And it seems like at some point, he actually crossed the bridge from behind them. And they noticed that. And I think they actually recognized that it was the same person, okay? So here's a long path here. Maybe I'll just fast forward it a little bit down it. You can go watch the Flow 3 video with the computerized voice if you'd like. And that one's a little different, but you can watch the whole thing. It gives you information that's over here. Now, if you notice up here, I have the Google Earth overlay, and I just have Libby's name just as a placeholder. But this is where they basically are on the same path if you were looking down from above. Okay, now on Google Earth, this is what it looks like. They're on this path right here, okay? And then they'll end up going over this bridge right here. Libby will take her first photo on the bridge right here, which actually films the whole length of the bridge that way. And then she walks forward and goes to this platform. Abby's right there, and she's filming back this direction. Okay, so you'll see that in a little bit. Yeah, and this is what it looks like that time of year. There's not a lot of leaves on the trees or anything, and so the suspect could be all the way back here, and kind of still keep an eye on them moving way up ahead and kind of keep out of view if he wanted to. So I could see him. My theory is that the suspect, he knew the traffic, and he knew that nobody had gone this direction prior to the girls. So he stayed back here, made sure that they were up there, and kept looking behind him to make sure nobody had just shown up. And then when he saw that they were going over the bridge, he then hustled down, and when the girls were about halfway across the bridge, he got onto the bridge and really quickly walked across. I had some friends that went out there, and they were able to walk across the bridge in less than 5 minutes. I think it was like 4. So it's if you're just lazily walking taking pictures, it would take longer. Okay, I'm sorry for the shakiness. This is just what I got. Someone shot this for me, so I appreciate it. At least it shows the exact path that the girls were on. They walked this direction. As you can see up here, there's going to be a metal, let me fast forward a little bit, a metal gate here. And this is something where people said they saw people, but it wasn't really a person. I mean, they thought they saw a person here, but it was really just one of the bars of the, I guess it's more of a barrier rather than a gate. All right, so further back from here is probably where the let's go back a little bit. So maybe the suspect could have even have been right around in this area and noticed that they had crossed, but kept out of sight. But he noticed that they were on the bridge, and then he kind of slowly, catches up to, not really catches up to him, but keeps far enough back where people can't see him. And then when the girls got on the bridge, he just waited from far behind. He wasn't visible still. You couldn't see him. And this is what it looked like. It was a little bit sunnier that day. It was blue sky. Okay, now if you'll notice, I think just past this platform number 2, I call it. I actually number them all. Let me hit pause and show you. Excuse me, that's a whole different video right there. Just going to try to go to right here to give you so this is platform 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, platform 4, 5, 6. All right, so this is platform 2 right there, because if you go back, let's go back a little bit. See, that's platform 1 right here. Platform 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let's get up. I'm skipping it forward a little bit. So here's platform 2. The first image taken by Libby is up here. I think my friend measured, I think it was like 43 feet from the edge of this platform. This direction is the first image that Libby took with her cell phone. And it's a shot of the entire bridge, and I actually show that, and you'll see it's an exact match. It's coming up here, I can see it. There's a little vine that I always point out right there. Right there, there's a vine that has an angle, and then you'll see it. This will be the exact shot. Alright, not the exact angle of the camera, but you'll see, notice it's exactly the same. You've got this vine, even this one, that piece of wood there, this one, every single thing lines up. You can just pause the video here and line it up, and you'll see that it absolutely matches everywhere. Now, it had a different setting on the camera, a wider lens on the right here, and that's why everything looks a little bit further away. Okay, so let's just keep that playing. You can read some of this information that was right there. All right, now on this platform here, what Libby does is she goes onto the platform near the end of the platform, turns around, and films Abby standing right around in this area right there. And you'll get, this will be an exact location as well. It's not an opinion. This is fact right here. Okay, so as you'll see, look at this. So this darker tie right here, it's darker right there, but see how the wood's broken right there? It's this tie right there. You can even compare some of this stuff. See this white right there? That's this one. And this one is right there. Then this little straight line is right there. And this tie is this one, so her foot right there is standing on this tie right there, exactly where that arrow is pointed is right. See that, even that little angle right there, that little part on that tie is right there. So this arrow is pointing exactly where Abby's right foot is. Okay, there is no doubt, there's no debate. You'll get all these people saying, oh, well, where's her shadow and all this stuff. Well, her shadow's right there. Okay, now you can't see a shadow on the suspect because if you notice, he's further away. Now notice how, you might be able to actually see it, but it's so thin and narrow that you can't distinguish it from the railroad ties and the shadows between, the gaps between the railroad ties. Okay, and you'll see that in a little bit. Okay, so at this point, you know, a lot of people said they saw a person behind this tree, and that's actually what it is right there, a branch. There's no person behind that tree either, okay? All right, so Abby and Libby then head back down, and I think around this time, maybe a little bit further, you know, one of them maybe looked back and saw that the suspect, so basically, let me put this back up. Right here, right now, they're about to approach this platform. So they're kind of in this area right here. And they might have noticed, but Abby was slower. Libby had been on the bridge many times, and Abby, I don't think, had ever crossed it. So Libby probably hustled a little bit quicker, and then, you know, waited for Abby at the end, and the suspect was catching up to them the whole time. All right? So here's platform 4 right there. Now, later on, you're going to notice a suspect. Sorry, I had to get a drink there. You're going to notice the suspect image, and this tree right here, these, you know, this branch right there, and this one, and also this small one up here, actually make up what looks to be a forked tree behind the suspect. All right, so right now they're about to pass that. And there's an image online by a girl named Cheyenne. She was actually on this platform right there, filming back this way. And that was about, you know, I think it was 3:45-ish, 3:47. But that was, you know, at least an hour after the girls were already gone, basically. So here's platform 5. Okay, now originally, a long time ago, I actually thought that the suspect, that Libby was on this platform right here when she was filming the suspect. But I was wrong. I had some, again, those same friends went out there and we were doing some filming, and I realized that that Libby was actually off the end of the bridge when she filmed the suspect. Okay, and it was the only way that you could create an angle. And one other thing that's interesting is you'll notice, see this right here, this damage? That's actually a white, it looks like a white nodule near the suspect's foot, and you can only get that angle from being off the edge of the end of the bridge, and that's how we determine this. Okay, now future revelations doing the video, I think that the suspect was actually about right here, which is pretty crazy, but it's still about 60 feet to the end of the bridge. But that's where I think he was, and I think Abby was somewhere around in here. It's been confirmed, basically, that Abby wasn't off the end of the bridge yet, and that there is one image released by law enforcement that shows a little dark spot on the left side, and that turns out to actually have been part of Abby's clothing, or, you know, part of her somewhere. So that means she was forward of the suspect and you know, in front of him, and the suspect was catching up. Now Libby was standing about right here, well, I got her about right here, because that's the angle that works. Everything lines up. So about right here. Okay. And I'm working on another video that actually has animated characters that are in these positions, and you'll see that later. But I thought I'd put out another video, go back over my old Flow 3 and actually put my own voice to it. Okay, now you're going to see the suspect here in a second. This is exactly where this shot was from. Again, sorry for the shakiness. Now see that little white nodule right there? And there's that forked tree. But this isn't the correct angle, so in a second I actually jump to the correct, right there, there you go. So this is the correct angle. A little bit left onto the bridge, maybe just a slight bit further is what I would do. But see this nodule right there? That's that damaged piece that I was explaining to you. And here is platform 5, the one that Cheyenne was filming from. And these are the forked trees behind it. Okay, now watch this. You'll see the little white nodule right there. Platform, platform, forked tree, forked tree. And see that? Fits right in there. Okay, now I've actually worked on this a little bit since then, and I've been able to actually, using some footage, line up these lines perfectly. I wonder if we can, if I just go back a little bit. That was a little too far there. Right, okay. Now look at this right here. You see how that kind of goes like this and then up? I think that might be right here. Could also be this area too. But I think that like this is right there, and it's like looking at tree rings basically. Yeah. So, but look at that, as it blinks on and off, you can see how close that is. So I think the suspect's actually right around in this area, even past that last platform. So here they come, and this is the hill that he said, you know, go down the hill right here. And, you know, we don't know the exact location, you know, we being the public, but, you know, you can see some areas where people have gone down. It's not really that difficult to go down that first hill there, nor the second one from over here. Okay, there's some videos out there. You know, there's actually, believe it or not, some useful video from Anthony Greeno, who I think is still in jail right now. I don't know though, but he, you know, he did a pretty good last video that had some good information. He actually crossed the creek too. So I think I'll be putting some of that in my my next video that's going to show the entire path again using some animation and really get it all dialed in. Alright. So this is Julie Melvin's footage right here. That's her husband over there. No, that wasn't the killer. Alright. So this just shows you after you go down that hill, it's really not far at all to get to the creek. Alright. Now if you go through and watch some of my older videos, you can actually see sort of the evolution of the flow has always been the same, but the precise locations has changed. But the early ones show you how I figured out the flow. It's kind of interesting. There's a bent tree and so forth. You actually see the bent tree in this footage here. But you can see how shallow the creek is right here, you know. So basically what I did was I determined that there was a shallow area right here, and then there was this bent tree right there, and I could find that using, there was some footage from the other side of the creek, and I was actually able to determine that it was right next to the crime scene, and so was this shallow area. And basically then you realize that they just crossed the creek right there. There was so much wild speculation that, I mean, some people actually said that, I mean, look at this. So here's the crime scene. This is the taped off area basically. So they this is platform 6. They came down the hill. What you're seeing on that video we're watching, they're right here right now. This is the bent trees right there. And Julie Melvin standing about right there in her video. Okay, but there's people, just to avoid going over the water, that believe that the suspect was over here, then he had him walk all the way back across and then around like this to here. But it's so obvious that they came down the hill right here and then crossed this shallow part of the creek, Deer Creek. We just don't know if it was if he forced them across or they tried to escape, or I mean, it's even possible that he, you know, drugged them across after he had already killed them. But I don't think so. I think he actually forced them across. I mean, it'd be really difficult to drag through the water and so forth. So that's not part of my theory. That's something I thought maybe at the beginning, but I've completely removed that from my thoughts. All right, so let me get back to the footage. So here's the Julie Melvin footage again. There's the yellow tape. So that's the crime scene that I have squared off on Google Earth. And oh yeah, and this is from the other side. So Melvin was standing about right here, looking this direction. Here's the bent tree. So this is what I was using. So when I realized the crime scene was over here, because they actually pan over and there's yellow tape, I saw this and then I realized, okay, I can go find that bent tree, and then it lined up right with the shallow part of the creek, and there you have it. I mean, it really made a lot of sense. All right. So again, this is from the other side, looking back. There's the bent tree, and we've got crime scene tape right there. Now, I don't know if on this one, if I actually pan back out. I don't think I did. But yeah, these are the people that helped out and got some footage for me. Let's see. Yeah, so here's some theory right here. Here's the crime scene. Okay, now it turns out it's possible on the Dr. Phil show, Mike said that somebody saw the suspect leaving. Now, does that mean that they saw the suspect? This is the parking area that we started the video from, right here. Did they see the suspect here, or they could have seen him anywhere? Okay, there's some speculation that they saw him around this area, and that would mean that he could have walked. There's Randy Gravitz out there as a video where they walk from, I think, the cemetery around like this, like this. So there is a way that you can actually, come up here, walk around, and then get back on the path, because after he crossed the creek, I don't know if he would cross the creek again and then go back over the bridge. I don't think he would feel safe or free going over the bridge, so I think he went this way and he kept concealing himself, and apparently, that white squiggly underneath his chin could be a scarf. Okay, now here's the cemetery that all of the law enforcement parked when they went down to, when their bodies were discovered. They parked here and went down in this area, and there's helicopter footage flying around. So there is speculation that maybe the suspect parked here, walked over here, did his, sociopathic hunting over here, serial killer kind of stuff. And then he crossed, did his thing, went across a creek, came up here and left. All right. But I'm not really, that's the part that nobody really knows about. But the flow of the crime is known, okay? It goes like this, across, down the hill, and this is where they were found, right here. All right? So for all you newbies out there that haven't followed the case at all, you should go watch my debunking videos so that you avoid the same garbage and nonsense that was on Facebook for 8 or 9 months, and we can move on to a further, further discussion in an advanced position instead of the absolute garbage. It was an embarrassment, the stuff that was out there. People saying they see faces in the wood on the bridge. It got nuts, So because it was on Dr. Phil, I think there'll be a lot more people actually focused on this case, and I hope they don't start all over again. I have already seen on the Dr. Phil Facebook posts the same garbage, okay, bringing the same people through the mud, okay. No, Mike had nothing to do with it, okay. Just get over it. Start, let's just hope a tip comes in that is, legitimate this time. I mean, there's probably some tips that were legitimate, just didn't turn out to be the right guy. All right. All right. Well, I hope you guys appreciate this. And until next time, I will talk to you later.